All right.
Welcome everyone, another episode of Morning Mindset at Full Circle Community. I want you to hear this. It's important.
Full Circle Podcast. What's your story? Well, right now, it is time for Morning Mindset Daily Prime with Arif Galani on the Full Circle Podcast Digital Network. It is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We meet each and every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to get a little pick-me-up from Arif Galani. Each and every weekday morning, we allow you, our Full Circle Podcast community members, to have access to the live recordings. And if it doesn't fit your schedule, jump on the podcast when your time permits. Go ahead and engage in the comments as if you were in the live audience. Compensated communities. Watch what happens. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's bring to the mic your host. But we can't just bring him in. Arif Galani needs an intro. He needs no intro, but the energy he gives us, I just love lighting him up first thing in the morning. So if you'll allow, let me tell you about my friend. I met this man back in our days of financial services. And I gotta tell you, if you've ever had rivals like Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens, I'm sorry about those Canadian fans, but I'll tell you something about Arif Galani. My team had red shirts, his team had blue shirts. The Metro Toronto Convention Center, I want you to picture it. 5,000 people. Every January, it was the kickoff. It was called the kickoff. And I'd have my team fired up. I'd be standing on a chair. I'd be rallying them up. And I'd look over and there'd be this guy, Arif, rallying his team up. And I'd be like, is he louder than us? Does he want his goals and dreams more than us? Let him know, team. Let him know. And then Arif and I became friends. And he was a student. He was curious, he had hunger, he had desire. I wish he could be on my team. Life happens. We go on our journeys, we went our separate ways, and I lost touch with Arif. Many of you know my dark season, and this was the man that actually inspired me to get back on my horse. He reminded me who I used to be, and he can do that for you too. I want you, Full Circle Podcast community, if you can hear my voice right now, I want you to imagine you're in that Metro Toronto Convention Center. You can smell the popcorn. Your feet are slipping on that greasy floor. The ketchup, the mustard, it just dripped off the hot dog onto your feet. You don't care because the MC said, now, coming to the stage, put your hands together, a warm, heartfelt, Full Circle Podcast community welcome for your keynote speaker, Arif Galani. What's going on, Arif?
Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Rod. Let's lower the music. Good morning, everyone. Those of you who are in the room, I want to thank you for being here. Those of you who are going to watch afterwards, I want to invite you to tomorrow. It's not Monday. Today is Tuesday. Today, I wanted to talk to you about reflection. See, there's a moment in everybody's life where you give it 100%. Maybe you're preparing for an exam, driver license, whatever accomplishments you have. So the man that is talking right now here, I remembered him in my mind. There was an image of Rod doing the dance on the floor and going rah, 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 and then showing off that he came from a company that was putting bolts in the cars to being this incredible, inspirational man. And when the tables turned and I received a call, or I called Rod at that moment, I felt, hold on, I needed to take his focus into the past. It's good to visit your past sometimes. Why? Because you can reflect and you can remember who you were. And yesterday or on the Sunday in the call, we talked about you being a child of God because you were made in the image of your Creator and you have that capacity to create. Now, what do you want to create? Let me go from Les Brown's words. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land on the stars. Now, what's your moon? I don't know. We need to have a one-on-one Zoom call with Rod, with me, to see exactly what is that you want. Then you download that mindset into your head and keep it as a picture in front of you day and night until it becomes so clear, part of your subconscious mind. And when you get to the dark moments, you got to reflect back. I remember being on Hawaii. I remember being called by the CEO of the company. I remember taking, the seat beside the president of the biggest financial company in the world, flying all the way to Calgary to give a speech for 20 minutes. I remember those days. So I remember my own capacities, and so do you. You have abilities, you have capacities, you have gifts that you haven't discovered. In the book, The Ministry of Miracles, I say, Sherry, be a scout. So as I travel around the world, and most of you who are now in the circle know that I'm a runner. I like running. Runner is actually a word. There's people who are running. There's a business called the Running Room based on the people who run. So running is a mindset. So when I go to a new country, for example, I was in Istanbul 2 years ago, and I was in a new area called Beşiktaş, biggest soccer club, very Hinalıgan, Şulagan, all yelling, screaming till 2 a.m. And I said, what do I do in this depression? What do I do in all of these things that are happening? I kept going back to the past. Before the pandemic happened, I called Robert from New York. Robert Amudi is a big investor, an amazing man in New York City. And I said, Robert, you've been following the camel story. I want to do something, man. I'm breathless. My store is shut down. There's no clients. I have gone from $25,000 a month to $0 a month. What do I do? He said, Arif, you need to be proactive. If you're down, be proactive. If it's pandemic, be proactive. He reminded me of the depression of 1930s and how many people jumped off building and suicide because there was such a pressure in society. He said, separate yourself from that. So I took this and I went back and I went to Istanbul and I served my father for 2 years, fulfilled my purpose. I'm the youngest son of 10. So imagine all of the burden was on my shoulder to, after 25 years, to come and serve my mom and my dad and people that I love because they put me in a position to be here. What I was talking about, being a scout, I went to Istanbul, I rented this apartment and I started running. The first day I said, I'm gonna go circle around this area. It took me 4 hours, but I walked, I came back, and I knew the area just like that. Life is like that. Tomorrow's unknown. You have to discover what is your purpose. And we're going to talk about that as Sherry talked. But you got to be scout. Be the scout of your life. Find out exactly what's possible for you. If it's not possible to be on the moon, you can land on the stars. I was shooting really high. I was always a big dreamer. I never came to Canada just to be satisfied with an average job, with an average things. No, I didn't want to do that. I came to Canada to say, in the words of John F. Kennedy, do not ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. That is where greatness comes from. So I was with this mentality. I thought in the financial industry, I will teach people, I will all of that. You will find your purpose after many, many, many years of search and you don't know where it is. And one day it's just like a light bulb. It'll open up to you. Rod, you had your hands up. Take the mic. Let me know what's on your mind.
Yeah, Arif, you just triggered and reminded me, man. I mean, obviously you remember we used to enroll, hundreds of people monthly, both you and I individually monthly. And you just reminded me of how many people I sat down with and had coffee that had immigrated here. And I would hear their stories. And it always inspired me, because I was born here in Canada. But my mom and dad are from Barbados. They met, and went to England, studied nursing, got their nursing papers, had my brother and sister in England, and then came to Canada, and I was born here. But when I always had those sit-down coffees, the stories, Arif, I would listen to people tell me they left everything they knew as convenient, comfortable, a language, a culture, a religion, the food. And they came here, Arif, they said, looking for better opportunity. A lot of them came for the better opportunity for their kids. And they would say to me, we heard it was milk and honey and opportunity and capital. And then they said, but we got here and we were told that they needed Canadian work experience. And they were like, well, where do we buy that? And I'll tell you something, Arif, and I say this respectfully, we have some of the most highly educated taxi cab drivers and elevator cleaners on the planet. And these are good people, Arif, ethics, values, morals, integrity. And man, They used to inspire me with their stories. Arif, my question as you're sharing here is, you have a passion for helping immigrants. I've seen it. And Full Circle Podcast community is mostly Canadians and Americans, actually more Americans than Canadians, but North America. And since you and I have connected, you've opened my, yesterday you're talking about Istanbul and you're talking about Mongolia. And I'm like, Full Circle Podcast community, we are going on a world journey. And I'm excited about it. Arif, back to you.
I appreciate it, Rod. Again, the research shows that 3 out of 4 self-made millionaires in North America are first or second generation immigrants. Why? Because they got the work ethic. They're waking up at 3, 4 a.m., going to that gas station, pumping gas until 12 midnight or whenever it is. Look, that work ethic comes from having seen the opportunity of North America. Most people have an illusion about Canada and North America. The American dream, the Canadian dream is alive, but it is a discipline, a mindset that will take you there, that you wouldn't have by yourself. See, people who grew up here have it much easier. I just dropped my daughter with 5 girls in a house in London to study second-year psychology, and I said, Zara, you see all of these people here. There's only 2% of you, and I told all the girls, who are gonna top the class. Develop that mindset. What did I give them as a gift? I give them each one book, The Ministry of Miracles. One of them who had read, he says, Arif, oh my God, I haven't seen you growing a mustache. I was so excited. I said, I read your book, you're growing a mustache. I said, yes, it's Movember. Why am I talking about this? Because I want to instill the mindset of an immigrant to all Canadians, to all Americans, to everything. It's not all Americans. Like Jack Ma is one of the heroes that I really follow. He's in China. He's not an immigrant, but he has that mindset. Like Bruce Lee was an immigrant Chinese, but he had that mindset. There's so many examples. The one that I can give you is Choban Yogurt. A small village guy from Turkey, from Kurdish areas, came to America, started a yogurt company. Right now, the most successful yogurt company in the world is Choban Yogurt, and he donates millions of dollars to social causes, to great causes, because he's seen poverty, he's seen war, he's seen injustice. When you come from that background, it's easy to wake up early, to work hard, to be in there. Mark, I'm glad you're here, my friend. You've read my first book, and I want to send you the second book. Mark, you make sure you connect with Rod, because we're on a journey. Like he said, we're going on a journey that will go around the world, starting right here in Canada. That's what I was asking Sherry, when is the retreat? We're going to have to organize the retreat, but some questions for you. Number 1, let me go to my note. What's your greatest asset, Rod?
My time. My
Wonderful.
relationships, actually. Relationships, then time.
Sherry?
Your ability to make money.
Ability to make money.
I couldn't agree with those 3 answers any better. Time, relationships, and money.
So without asking and going any further, I want to give you the answer that gives you all 3. The biggest asset that I have is the ability to listen. If you just slow down and listen to your customers. My customers have told me, I had 3 products in the beginning. Right now we have over 30 products. They told me I need this, I need that, and then I thought about shawls and beautiful things Rod is showing. I said, wow. And then as we brought them out, they asked for more and more and more. Customers will give you feedback, so don't forget listening. If you make one thing your thing today, listen more than you talk. That's my goal for today.
Yeah.
We're going to listen.
One mouth. We got to use them in that proportion, right, Arif?
Absolutely. And we're going to listen in this show. We're going to talk to you. We're going to put time in helping you, guiding you, and listening to all of the troubles that you have, helping getting you on the path that will get you to your purpose. And maybe you have forgotten about your achievements. Maybe you've forgotten, like Rod, making hundreds of thousands and going around the world on Hawaii and this and that. The ego is the enemy of success. And
That's right.
with Rod, with me, in the beginning, we're young. We don't understand. Money's coming in. You get attention. I was stopped in conventions. Can you sign my book under your picture? People were treating us like celebrities, while inside we were just little guys. We were insecure. We didn't know what we were doing. We just had a formula. So we're going to formalize everything and hand it to you on a platter. Rod?
Arif, what did you say to me yesterday when I was at your house? You said, we didn't know if you chase the money, the girls will come. If you chase the girls, the money will run.
Just a simple formula. Most people get it reversed. They put their happiness in somebody else's plate. If Maria tells me this, I will be happy. If Sherry treats me like that, if Rod tells me this, I will be happy. No, happiness comes from within. It's you that make you happy, and other people are attracted to you like a butterfly, a moth to a light, to a candle. The saying, go light yourself on fire and watch people come and watch you burn, something like that.
Burn, yeah.
I wanted to also bring you to the resources that we provide. Again, immigrants, Canadians, all of you. Everybody who's in this country for 10, 20, 30 years, if you haven't focused on finding the resources that will get you where you are, you wouldn't know them. Even if I lived in this country, if somebody didn't lead me to the way that I wanted to go find this specific resource, I could walk by every day, go to Tim Hortons, not notice McDonald's because I didn't see it. We're going to bring you the resources, opportunities, and talents. I was looking desperately for somebody to help promote this YouTube channel because we're going to put all of this information for free. Rod said, if we're teaching the class, we're charging people to come into this class, then we're putting on YouTube. What's the use? Oh, isn't that defeat the purpose? No, they don't get to interact. They only get to receive. You know what I mean? They cannot ask questions. They cannot interact. They cannot feel it. And once this online world is settled and down here on this Full Circle community, we're going to have in person. I have driven from here to St. Louis with the company that Rod knows, just to watch a day of speeches. I've spent $2,500 to go see Jim Rohn on his last speech in Dallas for 2 days. I have spent 10% of all of my income in improving me. That's all my books, and this is all your assets. It's in my assets on the rack. That's all it is. It's right here in this rack, right here. Getting the mindset right, knowing your purpose, finding out what will get you to the next step. And community is one way to get you to the next step. You need somebody to hold on to. We need somebody to talk to. We're going to celebrate milestones. We're going to give you the action steps. This has all been done before. There's nothing that we will show you that hasn't been done, that hasn't got the results. And most importantly, we will show you the model for change. Okay, you're going to get these documents. This is 13 lessons for Sunday class. Each week you get one bundle of resources. Very fun, just very picturesque. You can go through it, you can find it. But the model for change, one question. Are you unhappy with your current situation? That's where it starts. Answer that honestly. If you're happy, yes. If you're not, make some changes. Sherry is moving from one side of the country to another side of the country to put herself in a position because she wants to be happier, healthier, more organized, and make more money. So she has to think about this. She has to decide this. All of this happens in advance of change. And then takes relevant action, and then maintains the action, and then celebrates the achievement, and then we start the process of change, the circle again. Are you happy with your current situation? The finances, the base of all financial planning, the income sources. Do you have 1, 2, or 3 sources of income? So far this year, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have created 4 sources of income, and I have expectations and goals in every single one of them. And at the end of the year, we're going to have the yearbook. We're going to have a book of earners. We're going to show how we performed last year, so we have a measure to go by. Rod, I am done.
I love it. I love it, Arif, and it's amazing. Just yesterday, you met, well, I don't know if you met him before, Jake Breed, that's on here, because he actually is going to be a VIP guest as well. He's got a powerful story, and how I met him, just how we talk about effortless connections. I went on Facebook one day, and here's this young kid, I say kid respectfully, and he's asking people to just put a word in the comments, and he's freestyle rapping just off of the words that people are putting in the comments. And I get in there, and I got all my books, all my personal development books. I start holding up book titles, and he's rapping to the books. And I met Arif. 2 months later, he was living with us, moved in with us. And God has a sense of humor. His name's Jake. That was the name of the horse that I bought for Sierra, if you remember.
Is that him in the
Sierra
picture
horse.
over there? That nice young man beside this lake and all the ducks behind.
that's
Oh my
Jake.
goodness, holy moly. I like to be a part of that exercise, Jake. Let me
I don't
know
why
the
his camera's
address.
not on. Hey, we could sell tickets and admission if he turned his camera on. He's a good-looking brother, you know.
Don't worry about it. Let him be himself right now. We're going to reel him in and get him to talk us about what's happening beside that lake right there. And everybody gets the same chance. That's what they don't get on YouTube, Rod. They don't get to interact with us.
There.
So,
But what I wanted to share to you about multiple streams yesterday, you shared with him about the opportunity with Camel, and he got excited about it because of his lifestyle. He wants one of those toques, and it's just how that happens. That he just happened to be available. He jumps on in the Full Circle office, our virtual office, and you and him connected. And I just love how that happens, Arif. I'm just so grateful that you're here. I'll let you close this out.
Thank you, Rod. It's all energy. Everything is energy. From this pen that is in my hand to the cup of coffee that Sherry is holding, there's a vibration of energy. The vibration of energy you just described with Jake dancing to the words that people are saying or rapping or whatever he was doing was based on enthusiasm. Without enthusiasm, Winston Churchill said, nothing happens without enthusiasm. Success is going from one failure to another without loss of enthusiasm.
That's right.
Success is going from one failure to another without loss of enthusiasm. And I want to end with this. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, life is change. Growth is optional. Choose wisely.
Arif, it hurts my heart that we have to stop. But it's time for Mama Norville's Mission Circle coming up after